Alright, so this is the time I almost got arrested. And oddly enough, this story starts in a philosophy class. I was in this class, I was trying to decide between two classes to take. One was 8 a.m., one was 11 a.m. I tried to take the 11 a.m. class because it was later. It was the same instructor, same everything, except obviously the students were different. But I took the 11th class. And there were three guys sitting. I sat in the second row. There was three guys in the back row that they talked a lot. So throughout the semester, I started talking to them. They were BJ, Jerome, and Poop. Now, BJ, I never really got to be friends with Jerome, but he was a roommate. So BJ, I got to know. His name was actually Josh, but on his freshman roll filler, he was named Black Josh because there were 3 Joshes. So that's how he became BJ. And then Poof, his last name was Poofall, that's how he became Poof. So anyway, I would chat with them before class and after class. And at some point in the middle of the semester, they said, hey, we're having a party this weekend. Why don't you come to the party? So I went to the party. And I went to the party, and then I became friends with them, so I'd hang out with them more. And then, one night, we decided to go to Fieldhouse. Now, Fieldhouse at Mizzou, this is my college days, this was at Mizzou, there was the bar that all the fraternity people would go to, and every night there would be fights that break out in front of the bar. And the police would line up, and they'd break up fights and take people, arrest people. Well, it was closing time. I was getting ready to leave, so there's a big fight going on, and I was trying to walk around the fight because I had nothing to do with it. But one of the people in the fight grabbed me and pushed me in the street, and which would have been fine, but they actually pushed me into a group of girls and a police officer, a female police officer. Not that matters. But so I'm kind of lying in the street. And BJ, he's also, in addition to being black, and Josh, he's also 6'5". He's a huge dude. So he picks me up, and I'm like hugging my 6'5" security blanket, but then a police officer pulls me and puts me in the streets in handcuffs. So I'm sitting in the middle of the street, saying, hey, I had nothing to do with this fight, don't bother me. There's my ride. Of course, they didn't, I had nothing to do with this, and they kept quizzing me, what was the fight about? Why are you involved with this? And finally, eventually, I stood there long enough, they just had to let me leave because I couldn't really do anything. So then I go home with Josh, or BJ and Poof, and I got to thinking afterwards, little decisions can impact big things. So if I hadn't taken this philosophy class at 11, I never would have met BJ, Jerome, and Poof, and I never would have ended up at the Fieldhouse, and I never would have ended up almost getting arrested this one night. So that's the moral of the story. And that's the end of the speech. You can hit the right button.